Welcome to Mr.SNACKS Soul Cafe.
All
My
right.
name is Julia Caesar. And here is Mr. Snacks himself, Hiroshi.
Thank you, Julia Caesar. This is Hiroshi. I'd like to welcome on Zoom a dear friend, Audrey.
I hear you loud and clear.
You got me? All right.
And I can see you too,
All
by the
right.
way.
Okay. I'm trying to work out all...
You seem confused.
Yeah. Confused as a termite on a yo-yo. You're right. Just trying to figure this technology out here. Yeah, just trying to figure this Zoom out. So, you're there, Audrey. That's cool. I'm mellow. I took my evening walk and it was 118 degrees here in Fahrenheit in Vegas. So right now I'm just chilling. It was so hot out there, the ice cream truck out there in front melted. But anyway, we're just here at MR.SNACKS Soul Cafe. And comfort is the name of the game.
Yes, sure. Whatever makes you feel comfortable.
Yeah, and if it gets any hotter, I'll have to take off stuff I really ought to keep on. My name is Hiroshi.
Don't be silly.
Okay.
I already know your name.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And your voice is now my favorite sound.
It is, isn't
It
it?
soothes me in parts I didn't think could be fixed. Anyway, let's move on slowly.
If I tell you that I like your voice, you can take it as a real compliment.
I take it as a compliment. Thank you so much. Difficult, this lockdown, just being by myself. Anyway,
Yeah, it must be very weird having to stay inside your house for such a long time.
yeah. You're
By
right.
the way, do you find music relaxing?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, good. Because this is such a piano moment.
Okay, let's hear it. Beautiful. So let's get on with it here. Now that I'm very calm and relaxed. On that note, you know, nothing is completely good or bad in this world. Something good is also hidden in every bad thing as well as the opposite, really. And the same thing applies to this so-called, I guess, epidemic, this plandemic, I call it, instead of a pandemic, which has had a huge negative impact on the world, correct? But like I shared, in every bad thing, there is some good in the background, hidden. It may be hidden, right? You're not in the forefront. Right? A quote from Einstein, it stuck with me for, a man should look for what is, not for what he thinks should be. Sages have shared the same thing. Life is what it is, as it is, whether you like it or not. So, how was there good during this year and a half, right? Well, nature it's had a good impact on nature, right? Pollution has been reduced. Fewer planes flying around. One time there weren't any planes. Fewer cars going around on the highways, streets. So a reduction of pollution. The air has been given a break. So nature has had an opportunity to renew itself, right? Factories were closed down. All that smoke and pollution in the air. You know, fewer vehicles, buses and cars were running around. So there was a decline in accidents on the road. Even crime went down because of the lockdown. Some more positive things. So people have been spending a lot of time at home with family. Really. Instead of racing to a job for 8 hours, an hour to get there, an hour to get back is 10 hours. People were beginning to work at home, from home, right? That meant closeness to families, getting to know each other, time alone with loved ones, whether you like it or not. What else? Unnecessary shopping and unnecessary traveling. All that, it came to a halt. People were rushing out to the malls, buying things that they didn't really need just to fill in the time, going to places that they didn't need to go to. And time was spent creating other means of business, and time at home, resting, sleeping late, reevaluating their lives. So free time can be used in a very productive way, a lot of free time. So it wasn't all bad. So some positive things, many positive things about the outbreak. I personally had and still have both sides happening. I didn't have to travel. And on the road, which was a grind, felt more freedom in the past year and a half than any other time in my life. Had a chance to look at my life in a way that I never did when I was on that rat race, which is for the rats, was going on. Got to do this podcast, which probably would have never been possible. Whether it was good or bad, I don't know. Yeah, so the reality of the situation, was good for some, bad for others. Let's touch on reality. The sages have shared that it's an illusion. Right? So we know that our sensory organs collect the information from the outer world, right? In the form of electrical signals. These electrical signals are carried to the brain. So now the brain interprets the information, you follow me, and creates our reality, our own reality. And the reality for you may be different, from the reality for me or someone else. You see, our signals being interpreted depends on many, many factors. Our mental thing, our mental level, as we call it, our past experiences in life. There's also affected by our beliefs, our presumptions, our age, our sex, our environment, our conditioning, how we were raised, what we were taught from age 3 on, genetics, right? The DNA, our genes, a lot of factors. We even see colors differently in our minds. Your perception of the color blue may not be my perception. And this goes with anything. Even, you hear a song that makes you just melt, and to another, they don't like it at all. I love classical music. And to another, it's boring. Another quote, Einstein said, reality is merely an illusion, although a very persistent one. How about reality through the eyes of other creatures, right? You know that humans can only see and hear. It's limited. Bats, dolphins, for example, can hear frequencies. What was it? I've got it written down. Yeah. Of up to 100 kilohertz. We as humans from 20 to 20 kilohertz? And as we get older in age, we cannot hear the higher frequencies. I know I can't. So age affects our hearing and seeing as well. So this is proof that reality is not objective, it's subjective. I'm not even touching on the double slit experiments where the presence or absence of the observer affects the reality or what is being observed. This is called, the observer's paradox. So anyway, well, how are you doing, Audrey? Any words?
Hi.
Yep.
And most importantly, that this is all just temporary. If
Yes,
you ever
it is.
feel like it's never going to end.
Yeah. I might add at this time, and being by yourself alone is an opportunity for self-transformation. What I'm sharing is that solitude can be a tool to, without the noise of the outside world and all that, the interaction with other people, that really one can be quiet and observe what's going on within. Looking at your thoughts, emotions, your reactions and responses, getting down to the root. And one will discover that we are disturbed by our thoughts. But looking deeply, we are what is aware of our thoughts and feelings. We are what is aware of our body. A thought may arise that our life is a failure or even a success, but it's just a thought that comes and goes. It's not real. Yesterday, I might have thought life is so great, everything's going my way, my goodness. Then disaster strikes, right? Tragedy strikes. Control is an illusion. Isn't this obvious? But there are teachings out there, well-meaning, about controlling one's life. It's BS. You know, when death comes knocking on your door, can you say, come back next year? You know, if you had control, why would anyone make mistakes or do the wrong thing? If I did have control, honestly, I would have stopped my aging process at 40. If we had control, then why aren't we happy 24/7? Why aren't we all billionaires? I'm sure we all want some money. So we discover that life is uncontrollable, unpredictable, and spontaneous. That's why the world was shocked at the passing of Kobe Bryant. Among many other celebrities, Prince, Eddie Van Halen, Michael Jackson, or just the death of someone close to you, a loved one. Life is a mystery that can't be figured out. It just is. The aliveness goes on, and it goes on without reference to the human mind. You know, the ego, this I, is a mental creation. It's a claimer. I did this, or I accomplished that. You know, it was my prayer that caused the healing. The person will either be healed with or without prayer. Nothing wrong with prayer. Don't get me wrong. For prayer is what's arising, what's happening. So whatever happens is meant to happen. Whatever doesn't happen is meant not to happen. Full stop. And investigate. There's no entity within. Investigate this I on your own. Just don't take my word for it. Of course you're not. Is there an I? Anyway, take care. Later.